Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome. We're going to give it a couple minutes. I joined a little bit early because I saw some of you waiting in the waiting room. So we'll give it a couple more minutes for people to come in. But feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from. And while I wait for you guys, I'll get everything set up on my end. All right, perfect. So, hope you guys are excited to learn what I'm going to share with you today. We're going to talk about online customer acquisitions. What that means, really, it's a fancy term for how do you get people to convert online, either through your ads or your landing pages or your website, etc. So, again, as we kill a little time here and wait for some more people to join, the format of this webinar, I'm kind of holding it down alone. Usually I have some help with the chat, but I will be monitoring the chat, help answer any questions you guys have. So feel free to utilize that chat feature. The format is going to be, I'm going to give you a couple definitions to start off with. And then we're going to look through a couple of different examples using each one of those definitions that I share with you. Then we're going to look at some actual real life tools and some examples on how you can squeeze the most out of that fruit so that you can hopefully get more people to convert online. I really enjoy what I do because it's almost it's a little bit psychology, a little bit of a science, but I really enjoy learning what makes people convert. And because we do that for our clients, I'm able to apply that and learn for each industry, which is really exciting. So let's see, why don't we go ahead and get started? It's 1:46 now. I'm sure we'll have some people join us. First and foremost, please introduce yourself in the chat so I know who I'm speaking to. Let me know where you're joining us from. So we have Andy and Ray, Trina. Welcome. All right. Ooh, San Diego. Wow. Welcome. We're located in Wilmington, so we're the opposite side of the coast. All right, Trina, Ray, where are you guys from? And you'll have to forgive me because I've got a few different monitors here, so you'll see me look all over the place. Maryland. Very nice. Hey, Ray. I thought that might have been you. Welcome back. This one might be a little review for you. Hopefully, I'll break it down a little easier since we have some more time, a little more control over the format. But let's go ahead and dig right in because I know you guys are ready to get back to your Thursday and hopefully implement some of the things you learned today. So, real quick, my name is Derek Schmidt. Started Design Loud in 2011. Personal mission is to just be somewhat responsible for helping people get from point A to point B. And so, over my decade of experience now, I like to just kind of share what I've learned, kind of help lessen the learning curve for a lot of others who are starting the businesses because it's a staggering amount of small businesses that close within the first 5 years. I think the statistic is like 80 or 90%. It's ridiculous. And so if there's anything that I can do that I've learned and share with you to help you be more successful, that's kind of my personal mission statement. That's also the philosophy that we hold here at Design Loud. Couple of other hands and some other businesses here. I've got the Entrepreneur Bootcamp podcast, more of a passion project that I started pre-COVID that we're starting to bring some more life to. Of course, we've got the YouTube channel and everything where you can see all the webinars and some of the clips that the staff around the office takes. And then I've got a software company as well, Swell Systems. We've created a product called Swell Enterprise, and then bam, that's it. That's as much as I like to talk about myself. So we're going to dig right in. The first thing I want to explain is the different types of marketing that you have available, right? You've got what's called multi-channel and then omnichannel. And we're going to break that down in just a minute and go through some examples. But multi-channel essentially means many channels, right? It revolves around your product or service. It lets the customers engage and purchase natively wherever they shop, but often treats each individual channel as silos. So they're independent from one another. Each channel in a multi-channel strategy exists as a separate purchase opportunity for your customers. That'll make more sense in just a moment. The other form of marketing is omnichannel, omnichannel. And so you'll hear me say a lot when I introduce Design Loud, or if you ever catch me out networking for any of the locals here, you'll hear me introduce Design Loud as an omnichannel marketing agency. And what that essentially means is all channels, right? So it revolves around your customer and creates a single customer experience across your brand by unifying your sales and your marketing that accounts for the spillover between channels. What that really boils down to is it's more personal, right? It's personalized marketing. So multi-channel, again, it blends the customer experience, gives consumers a choice to engage on the channels that they prefer. And so you think of multi-channel marketing as a wheel with spokes, and at the center of the wheel is your product or your service, or i.e. a sale. On the outer rim of the wheel are your customers, where each channel offers a separate and independent opportunity to buy your services or products. Once it's clear which channels resonate best with your target market, you can optimize marketing in those channels to maximize. Now, I believe most businesses, they are using some form of multi-channel marketing, right? You're doing all this marketing. Hopefully you're measuring, you're tracking, you're finding out what works, and then you're adding wood to that flame, right? So let's break down an example of multi-channel marketing. I'm going to use Lisa in my example. Ray, you're probably familiar with this. First time we're going to go through this funnel, we're going to highlight their multi-channel approach. The second time we'll go through and highlight an omni-channel approach. All right, so multi-channel using Lisa Mattress. The first time visitors visit without existing accounts, they're presented an offer with two overlays. First is a welcome message with $100 off and a subtle seasonal touch, right? So you can see that from the examples here. Got the $100 off, little shop now call to action. But it's not enough to simply market the products. The key with the multi-channel is to offer native commerce opportunities across channels. So that's why Lisa offers the same robust online experience on Amazon as it does on their own website. It's complete with a product video, some social proof, and a detailed explanation of its unique value proposition. Okay, we can see that here on the left through the screenshots and the various marketplaces that they use. And then a user who still hasn't completed the checkout process and accesses their Facebook account, they'll see the mattress they left in their cart, as well as additional ads on their feed to hopefully come back and buy that mattress, right? You know this is retargeting or remarketing. So with a relatively high purchase price, Lisa's Facebook ads drive consumers to its site. Your own approach might instead allow users to buy natively through something like Facebook Shop or the Instagram Shop or some sort of buy now button. All right, so Lisa may also list and sell its products for sale natively on Pinterest using a buyable pin. Each channel in a multi-channel strategy exists as a separate purchase opportunity. So you see where those marketing channels, they're not really talking to each other, right? Each one's kind of its own individual silo. And so if I visit the Lisa website and I don't convert for whatever reason, maybe I'm seeing ads on Facebook to buy that Lisa mattress that I added to my cart or that I was checking out through some sort of remarketing, right? All right, so let's break down the omni-channel approach. Omni-channel retail, it's immersive. It puts the consumer and not your product at the core. It's about communicating in ways that are aligned with why they use a given channel, showing awareness around their individual stage in the customer life cycle. Customers can purchase wherever they are. Rather than treating channels as independent silos, omni-channel accounts for the spillover that happens between the channels and offers customer experiences within and between channels. In place of a multi-spoked approach, omni-channel merges the worlds of the website, the emails, the retargeting ads, social media marketing, physical locations, all to show personalized offers, products, and messages. So using that same company, Lisa, as an example, let's break down their omni-channel approach. If we alter Lisa's multi-channel approach that we just went over earlier into an omni-channel marketing approach, it might look something like this. Customer goes through on the website, through the standard process. They add a queen mattress to their cart, but they leave and they don't buy. The first email they receive contains the $100 off incentive, right? You ever received any of those abandoned cart emails where it's like, hey, you forgot to check out, come back and get $50 off. So simultaneously, they're served a series of ads of that same queen mattress and $100 off coupon on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube, staggered maybe over a week to ensure that they're not bothersome, right? Sounds familiar. It's kind of like a multi-channel approach. Now, this is where it really gets personalized. So after a week of not engaging, Lisa switches its approach and features ads highlighting its social responsibility efforts with call to actions to check out its Giving Back page. As you'll see here, it highlights the community efforts, kind of what they're doing with various nonprofit organizations around the community. A pre-roll YouTube ad highlighting Lisa's support of the Phoenix, Arizona Dream Team, a nonprofit helping to reunite families, finally prompts that customer to engage with their ad. So now all of a sudden we're starting to capture data on our customers, right? We know that they're interested in the Queen mattress. They visited our website. It doesn't seem like they care too much about the $100 off discount on the mattress, but they really like the fact that it's a community-based company, right? So those are some examples of tags that I would use in something like a CRM or marketing tracking system, email marketing, whatever. I've tagged them with community effort. I've tagged them with non-discount maybe and mattresses, right? So I've already got 3 tags from that. All right, so the customer returns to the Lisa website, watches another video, and then visits the King mattress product page instead of the Queen. So I drop that Queen mattress tag and maybe I add the King mattress, or I just leave it at mattress, right? All the while I'm collecting all this data and I'm segmenting my users. So in response, a new round of social media ads appear, as does a new email with 2 slight adjustments. A King mattress is featured and the incentive is raised to $150 off. The customer clicks through Facebook, fills out their shipping information, but decides the mattress needs to be experienced before purchase and abandons cart again. So you can already see where we're starting to get into the omnichannel marketing stage, right? Where the marketing is kind of adjusting itself based on what the customer is interested in. And it's following them across all these different channels. And whatever channels that customer or that user engages with are the channels that we are highlighting some of the things that they're interested in as it pertains to the company, product, or service. Is everything making sense so far? If you don't mind, just drop something in the chat so I know I haven't lost you already. Hope I didn't already put you to sleep. All right. So, like I said, the next thing they click through Facebook, fills out the shipping, but they really want to experience the mattress, right? So now Lisa anticipates this objection and detects that the customer's address is near its New York showroom, right? Because the customer filled out their shipping address, they just didn't click the purchase now button. Okay, so again, we've got a whole lot of data already on this potential customer. 2 days later, that customer gets a personalized invitation in their physical mailbox to test out the King mattress for themselves at the Lisa Dream Gallery. Okay, so we're following them based on what we feel they're interested in and how they want to experience our product or service. The customer finally bites. They stop by, purchase the mattress, and uses Lisa's point of sale system at checkout, which automatically updates their account. So when the customer arrives home, there's a thank you email waiting for them a week later, another email arrives asking the customer to leave a review on the mattress. Both emails get ignored. So by this time, we've really found out that this user or customer just does not like email or does not utilize email. That's, again, another segment that we could put them in. Since Lisa values social proof, the customer gets a Facebook Messenger invitation to submit a review because they have seen ads and interacted with ads on Facebook. So we know that they're not active on email, but they're active on Facebook and social media. The customer agrees and gives Lisa 5 out of 5 stars, interacting exclusively through Facebook Messenger. So now we know how this customer prefers to communicate. And this is all kind of automated in the back end, right? So given the customer's satisfaction with their new mattress and the customer's last 2 points of contact the following week, Lisa sends both a physical mailer as well as a messenger message outlining their Refer a Friend program. In the meantime, all the Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube ads, they've all stopped, but in their place and staged out over time, new ads appear for the Lisa blanket. To Lisa's surprise, the customer purchases 3 blankets, and this automatically triggers a new series of mattress ads on social and via email. The customer clicks through one of the emails, but rather than making a purchase, they spend time on the Lisa's financing page. So now we know they're interested in financing and possibly interested in a bigger purchase, maybe a second mattress. And as you can see here, this likely means they're contemplating additional mattresses, but they're price conscious. So that's another tag that I would use to segment this user. The next email and Facebook ad they see speaks directly to that need. So with an omnichannel strategy, customer behavior, it dictates the tactics that the ads and the marketing strategy are going to use next. Each interaction alters the experience, but the brand's behavior isn't random. It's aligned with the customer's behavior within and between the channels. So right now I'd like to pause and I'd like to ask if, first off, all of that made sense, or if you have any questions. I'm going to drop a poll because I'd like to learn um, which one you feel like people use most. Let me see, where's my poll? So I'd love to find out your take. What do you think most businesses use? Do they use multi-channel, omni-channel, or you just still don't know the difference? Multi-channel. Did I give you that answer? I might have. I would have to agree. I think most businesses use multi-channel marketing, and not because one's better than the other per se. I just think in order to incorporate omni-channel marketing, you have to have a lot of resources, especially if you're going to do that internally, right? So you have to almost have a team of marketing people or engineers to kind of implement. And to quote one of my famous movie or favorite movies, Shrek, it's kind of like an onion, right? You build it in layers. Except for Shrek said he was complicated like an onion. He has many layers. But omni-channel, that's the point. I mean, if I were just starting a business today, I'm not going to start out and start with an omni-channel approach. It's something that I eventually have to build up to, right? But let's take a look and some other real life examples. And let me X out of that presentation, and let's do another way of optimizing our conversion. So let's say, I'm running some ads or I've got some SEO on my website. I'm getting good ranking, I'm getting good traffic, but I want to find out, like, is there anything else I can do to increase the amount of leads? So I'll tell you a couple of the steps that I implement. First off is user recording and visitor tracking. You know this probably through Hotjar as a popular tool. We use SmartLook, which is a competitor to Hotjar. Both of them have very generous free tiers. What I like about SmartLook compared to Hotjar, with Hotjar's free tier, you start recording and it will stop after you get to 100 recordings. So you have to manually go in and restart it. SmartLook, it just kind of rolls off the oldest recordings so that you always have the newer ones. But take a look. So again, I'm running ads, which I am, and I'm interested to see like what people are doing when they're clicking on these ads or what they're doing if we're ranking for something in search engines. I'm going to look at this first one for an example. All right, now again, this is called SmartLook, and it's user recording, but I can physically watch somebody navigate our website. And what I'm going to do, uncheck skip inactivity. A little rule of thumb is that your cursor generally follows what your eyes are reading, right? So I can sit here and watch what this user stops to read and what they skip past. I can see if they, if one call to action works better than another. I can see if they click through on other pages on our website, right? So you'll see here, this user seems like they're reading a lot, they're scrolling. Get down below. And then we have our call to action, right? Are you interested in advertising on connected television? Contact us. And then they click a link, they go back, but let's take a look at another one. Here we go. This person came from Google. They went to our homepage, they went to our About Us page, and then our work page. They spent 3 minutes total. And for the sake of time, because I know you guys are all busy, I'm going to go ahead and just click skip inactivity so we can just see. All right, so they didn't even scroll down. They just immediately clicked meet our team. There's the cursor kind of following the eyes as they're reading it. Okay, let's scroll down. Perfect. We got them to the bottom. And they're taking the time to read some of our text as well. And then finally, I believe they're going to skip through into our work. So I'll just fast forward a little bit. They're looking at the different services. And then finally, I think they're about to click on our work to look at some of our portfolio. So again, it's really interesting to see with this information, with Google Analytics, and of course, you've got all the resources and analytics to see how people find your website, how long they spend, where they drop off, how many pages they get through. It's really interesting to use all of this data. And then with that data, for example, there may be a change that I want to make on a website, right? And so if you haven't already, I'd like to introduce you to Google Optimize. Are you guys familiar with Google Optimize? Go ahead and let me know in the chat, because that lets me know how much time I need to spend on reviewing what is Google Optimize. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and touch on Google Optimize. Google Optimize is a free product from Google, just like Google Analytics. But let's say I've looked into, let me paste this in the chat here. You can go to it by optimize.google.com. Sign up for a free account. It's really easy to get started. So with those user recordings in Google Analytics, I have an idea on what kind of things I might want to change on my website that hopefully make it convert more, right? Get more people to convert. So what you're looking at here with Google Optimize, you have these things called containers, which is more or less like a website, right? So under a container, you can create what's called experiments. And these are like A/B split testing. You know how you can A/B split test emails and ads? You can A/B split test, or ABCDEFG split test changes that you want to make on your website. And if you have goals set up in Google Analytics, you can measure how effective or which change is going to get the most results from your goals. So take a look here. This is an example of one. I told you I had a software company. This is an example of an experiment that I ran between February 21st and May 22nd. Okay, and on this, I ran 2 experiments. 50% of the traffic saw this version, the original version. 50% saw a different version of our homepage. This was a software company. And so if I change the goal, you can see the original version actually converted a lot better than the version I thought I was going to change. Now, without Google Optimize, I would have went in and just made that change immediately, right? I would have had to have waited, seen if we had just as good, if not better results than what it was previously. And if we didn't, I'd have to go back and change it back. So you can see where Google Optimize kind of solves that problem for us. Because as I mentioned, this is an A/B test. So 50% of the traffic saw the original version, 50% saw the agency version. So let me show you just how easy it is with Google Optimize and what I'm talking about. Again, I decided 50% of traffic sees this, 50% sees this. If I go to view, and I probably should have opened that in a new tab. This is the original version, okay? I want you to pay attention to the top here. Now I've got Google Optimize loaded, so you'll see as I hover over things, let's say I wanted to change this text, I could easily change that text or change the color of the text or this button or remove this whole section completely, right? Without ever having to actually edit my website. That's part of my split test. But pay attention to this text because this is the original. And then let me show you the agency version. So my test was, do we change that top value proposition? So you'll see it for a second with the original, but now it just switches. Now it says run your agency from one app. There's a lot more text here, right? But it's more specific to an agency as opposed to just general business owners. And so I changed several things to match that throughout the home page. See here? And out of all of that, the original actually converted a lot higher than the version that I thought was going to do better, which was the agency version. So let's go through real quick and create an experiment. Let me get out of the preview tool here. Let's say done. We'll go through how to create an experiment in Google Optimize because it's going to be a huge benefit to you. All right, so while you're in Google Optimize, let's go back one step. I'm going to, and I assume, either you've already created an account and you're at this screen, or if you find this information helpful, hopefully you'll set up an account on Google Optimize and you'll see the screen almost immediately. So I'm going to go in and create an experience. That's what Google calls it. We're going to call this, let's say, homepage. I'll say test so that I know not to actually run this. These are the different options I have to implement in my experiment. I usually do A/B tests because that's what I'm doing is an A/B split test. And you can see here where I'm testing a specific URL. So I'm going to click on create this experiment. All right, perfect. So let's click on add variant. We'll call this, I don't know, suggested changes. Maybe I had a friend who was like, oh, you should change this on your website, right? Okay, so you see here, it just added suggested changes. And then we've got our original version. So right here, I say 50% of our website traffic is going to see the original version of that URL, that page that we just had. And 50% is going to see the suggested changes. All right, so on the suggested changes one, I'm going to click on edit here because this is where I get to edit anything and everything about the site. All right, so now that I'm in Google Optimize Editor, look how easy this is. I click on that and I can say edit element. I want to edit the text or HTML or whatever, remove. So I'm going to edit the text. I'm going to say run your insurance company. I don't know. I'm just making things up. And then I'm going to hit done. And I also think this page would perform better if, you see I highlighted this whole container, if I just removed this container. So I'm going to click on edit and remove. Okay. And I feel like this would be better right here if I changed the color to black. So I happen to know that code, but there is a fancy little code picker in case you wanted it right here. So I changed that color to black. Now this isn't making actual changes on my website, but again, remember 50% is going to see the original version, 50% is going to see this version. And I'm going to run an experiment 30, 60, 90 days and see which one converts the best for me. Okay, and I can go on, keep making changes. I can change the text of this button or the color of this button, or just remove it completely. I mean, you have a lot of flexibility, but let's just assume I'm done. So I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to click done. All right, and so now we've got our original version, 50% sees, suggested change of 50% sees. I can add another variant if I want, and that way 33% of my website traffic sees the original, 33% sees suggested changes, 33% sees a new variation that I create. The only other thing that I really want to show you here is you have to know what you're measuring, right? So you heard me say, make sure you've got your goals set up in Google Analytics. As you'll see here, I've got 3 goals set up, but Google also has some objectives that you may utilize that you can measure. So for me, I'm most interested in how many people upgrade an account. Okay, and maybe I want to add an additional objective too, where I want to see how many people actually click the register button. Once I'm done, I just hit start here, and immediately it's going to begin, and my web traffic is going to start seeing these changes or the original, just depending on how that's all set up. You guys have any questions on Google Optimize? And while I'm waiting for you to type that out, there's one thing I did want to share with you guys that I unfortunately did not prepare for beforehand. So let me gather that. No questions on Google Optimize? All right. Let me ask you this. Type in the chat for me, yes or no, if you know how to create goals in analytics, because that's what I was going to share with you. And if you don't know how to create goals in Google Analytics, I'm going to share a process document that we use when we're creating goals. Hopefully that helps walk you through like a step-by-step guide that's really easy to follow for how you can create goals. Goals. Got it. Perfect. I'm going to share this with you. Just don't share it with anyone else. This is one of our internal processes here at work, Design Lab. I'm going to leave you guys the ability to view it. Copy link. Perfect. All right, Ray, Andy. Okay, perfect. This process document, go ahead and take a look at that. I just dropped it in the chat. That should help you create and set up goals in Google Analytics so you know what to measure and what that looks like. And once you have that implemented, you have your goals set up here. As you can see, I'm looking at all of our goals. I've got this set from the last 30 days. So over the last 30 days, we've had 80 goal completions. I attached a value to my goals. So each time somebody completes one of the goals, there's a numeric value that's associated with that so that I can calculate the return on investment, right? And I forget what that amount was. I think it was maybe $20 or $100, but based on the 80 goal completions that I got, I should have expected a return on investment of $4,400. Okay, my goal completion rate's 2.16, and I can see which one of my goals were completed here. Now, what I like even more about this is I can go to acquisition and overview, and I can segment my website traffic based on goals. So you see here, I've got one of my goals created. Let's say goal 3, create an account. All right, multi-channel marketing, right? If I was using that, or even omnichannel, I can see that based on all the marketing that I'm doing, paid search actually yielded the most goal completions for me. So if I'm looking at where to spend all my marketing, or not all my marketing dollars, but a majority of my marketing budget, I would look at this. And again, this is the last 30 days. Maybe I would open this up to the last 90 days, depending on how long you've had the goal set up. But I would look at this and say, okay, we need to put like 80% of our marketing budget towards paid search, and then 20% towards organic search and direct search, right? So with having goals set up in Google Analytics, it helps you identify where your traffic's coming from that is converting, right? So you know where to focus your effort and your energy based on getting the most return on your investment. And again, that's a segment in Google Analytics, as you'll see that I've got here. Now I can also add that as a defined segment, as I've already done in the past. But I can look at audience, overview, I can break it down to the demographics or the geography. So let's look at geography, for example. Location. And I'm most interested in, let's see, which goal converted the most for me and where they're from. This is still looking at the last 30 days roughly. And so I can see here 2.2. It's actually the UK and Nigeria. And I'm having to lean because I can't see the bottom half of my third monitor here. And then India, right? 1.07 in the US. I was actually expecting the US to be the top one, but it looks like that's not the case. This is a global software, so that's really good to know as for all my marketing efforts, what locations are converting. But again, I can do the same thing with demographics. I can break this down by goals. Let's see, add segment, goal completions, and then apply. And I can break it down by reverse engineering the path that they get, their behavior, where they go, what they do, what leads them to a conversion, like what pages they follow to get to that conversion. So there's a lot of value in having the goals set up and your segments. I'm going to go ahead and remove that before I forget about it. All right, so I'd like to open it up and allow you guys to ask some questions. In the meantime, I have some materials to share with you. So first and foremost, if you'd like a copy of this presentation that I shared with you at the beginning, you should see that available in your chat now. And that's the link that I dropped in the chat. That's the more extended version of the presentation. What I shared with you earlier was kind of the shorthand version of that. But you can download that presentation, which also comes with some image screenshots and some videos to find out, what it is exactly that we did. And I also wanted to share with you a cheat sheet on how to optimize your conversion optimization and your online acquisition. So I'm going to go ahead and share this now. I feel like everybody's had a chance to get that presentation that I just shared previously. All right, here comes, and there's the cheat sheet. All right, perfect. What kind of questions do you guys have? Because I did kind of speed through some of those things, but we've got a little time left over. I definitely want to answer any questions or find out what types of businesses you have and maybe give you some ideas. Ray, do you have any questions? How about Andy? Go ahead, Ray. What can I help you with? And while you're typing your questions, Ray, good to know, Andy. Thank you. While you type your question, Ray, also wanted to drop in one more thing. If you guys have had enough time to get that cheat sheet download, one thing I do want to offer you guys, it's exclusive to these webinars, is that if you're interested in trying any marketing services, we're doing something special for our webinar attendees where we're going to offer 30 days. There's no strings attached. You don't pay us a dime. There's no obligation. If you're considering, doing any kind of marketing, or for any reason you're unhappy with your marketing, we'd love to talk to you. Like I said, try a risk-free 30 days. We'll set everything up. It's no cost to you. We'll go ahead and we'll kind of show you what that omni-channel approach can do for you, what some of this split testing, this optimization could do for you. All right, Ray. You don't have to put your question in the chat. I don't know how else I will get it though. You might be able to send it to me as a private message, but just let me know if you want me to read it aloud. Or you can mark it as a question in here as well. Sorry, my backup's usually here to help answer that question, so they are more familiar with it than I am. Set up time with you. Okay, perfect. I'd love to help you, Ray. All right. If there are no other questions that I can help with, that pretty much wraps up our online acquisition webinar. Of course, this can cover many, many hours, but like I said, you have a link to the full presentation that I generally present. And I think those classes are like 2 hours. They're free. They're done through the SBC. But this was kind of a shorter version of that where I think I just kind of extracted the more important things, from the presentation for you to take away. Ray, I will put it back in the chat here. This is the full presentation you should see. All right, let me know you got that, Ray, and I'll go ahead and swap it out with the cheat sheet. Are you ready for the cheat sheet? Perfect. All right, here's the cheat sheet in case you didn't get that. Move around a little bit so I can see what I'm clicking. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Feel free to reach out. I'll leave our contact info in the chat panel here. If you have any questions or you're stuck on implementing any of this, feel free to let us know. Happy to help, walk you through it. Thank you, Andy. All right, take care.